Yeah, Jesse Lee Peterson. Someone said in the comments the other day, don't worry about the Jesse Lee Peterson savage moments, even though I will carry on with them, but they said do more of the actual full interviews. And this is another person, he's upset, and they storm off, a pastor, which is kind of crazy because you'd think that, do you know what I mean, there'd be brothers in arms, him and Jesse, but yeah, it'd be interesting how to see how he's upset him. But yeah, because there are like long ones where people, not everybody walks off, but yeah, I do enjoy what it is going to be that's going to get the person to actually storm off. Do you know what I mean? Because Jesse don't really like, he really don't soften himself for anybody. So it's amazing that people last so long. So it's always interesting to see what's the thing that gets them. But yeah, we're ending this right now. Pastor storms off interview. Let's go.
Give me the shirt. Come on. I ain't the children of the lie. Let's go. Come on. One shirt.
Jesse! Jesse! What in the world going on out here? All these people are here for the merch, but we're sold out.
They're here for the merch?
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's amazing. The merch is amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
The merch is amazing.
Subscribe now.
I might have to get me a t-shirt, but yeah, we're adding Peterson. I said Norm MacDonald and Jesse were the two greatest adverts. People are doing adverts, but Chip, we did, actually I might finish that. But anyway, yeah, Chip's great at them, but Jesse's adverts are classic. Let's go.
When times get tough, you need to get down. No need to look backward, put your feet on the ground. Stand up, stand up.
Welcome to the Fallen State. I am Jesse Lee
Actually sounds
Peterson.
like
Help
Mark
us
Gallagher.
fight censorship by hitting the thumbs up button, and then don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. You can ring my bell. Ring the bell, all right? I have with me today Pastor Kurt D. Thomas. He's a senior pastor of the Renewed
He already looks
Church of Los Angeles. Am I right?
That is correct.
Renewed Church of Los Angeles. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
I absolutely appreciate it.
Thank you.
And so, were you called to be a pastor, or did you go to school for it?
Well, at the age of 9, I felt the presence of God over me. I grew up in a Pentecostal church, so I went through that entire Pentecostal experience. And it wasn't until I matriculated through college that I decided to get a bachelor's degree in theology, or to study theology while I was at Stillman College.
Oh, I see. So God didn't call you. You decided to go
no.
to school for it.
No. I believe that I was called by God to do what I do.
Oh, you do.
Yes.
And why do you believe that?
Why do I believe that I was called? I know that I'm called to do what I do because because I have a passion and I have a desire to see people elevated from where they are to where they need to be.
Oh, okay. And when you say where they are, do you believe that human beings are in a fallen state?
Explain what you mean by that. In a
Fallen.
state.
You're a pastor. You should know.
Yeah, but explain what do you mean by a fallen state?
Do you know? Do you believe that human beings are in a fallen state? You know what fallen means,
A
right?
fallen state means that they've fallen from the grace of God.
Yes.
Is that what you're okay?
Right.
So I believe that that humans have fallen from a fallen state, but with the whole deal with reconciliation, I think that God reconciles us back to Himself.
So you do agree then that human beings have fallen away from God, right?
That humans have fallen away from God according to Adam and all
Right.
that. Yes.
And then at some point, those who seek Him will come back.
Those who seek Him are that He's called back to them. Yes, then they will.
Is it possible to overcome that fallen state?
It is possible to overcome that fallen state if we accept Christ back into our hearts.
Right.
Some
How
of the-
does one know when they're in a fallen state?
Well, a person will know that they're in a fallen state when when they don't live a life that's acceptable. I believe that's really acceptable to themselves. So like a person that is a drug addict, or a person that is drinks too much liquor, a person that maybe not living their best life, or doing what they're called to do. I think that those people are the people that find themselves in a fallen state.
So when they're not living their life according to God, and they're in a fallen state?
If you're not living a life that is according to the principles of God, yes,
Then you're in a fallen
then
state.
you're in a fallen state.
So if I read, and I don't know if it's true or not, I like to ask the person before I mention,
Okay.
know if it's true or not. Are you a homosexual?
I am a same gender loving man.
So does that mean you're a homosexual?
It means that I'm a same gender loving man.
But just I'm black and slow.
Again, I've been sitting thinking, same with that girl or the woman who walked off. She seemed all right. He seems all right. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing in me really that's like, oh, I don't like him or what he's got to say. Do you know what I mean? He comes across all right. It's always this is what I mean. It's intriguing to see. But now I think we've hit probably what's gonna cause him to walk off. He is gay. And yeah, we all know Jesse. Let's go.
Okay.
And just for the record, does that mean you're a homosexual?
I could be considered a homosexual.
Are you
yes.
considered? I don't want to think of you if you're
Yeah,
not.
I'm a homosexual.
You're a homosexual?
Yes.
And so you're a homosexual pastor?
I am a homosexual pastor, yes.
How long have you been a homosexual pastor?
I've been a pastor for 8 years, senior pastor, and then before that, prior to that, I was a youth pastor.
Oh, okay. Why do you think that God would call a person, a homosexual, to be a pastor but not change him?
So I don't think that God majors where we minor. And so I think that what happens is I think that we put limitations on God that God doesn't have. For example, we could, if you go to seminary or something like that, you find out that there's a thought process that God could possibly be a woman, or that God could be this, or that God could be that God can be whatever it is that you need him to be.
You believe that he can be a woman?
I believe that God can be whatever it is that you need him to be.
So can he be a homosexual too if you needed him to be one?
Well, honestly, I don't think that the Bible says that God is neither male nor female.
Right. So how can he be a woman then if he's not a female?
Well, I'm saying that. So there's a book that's by who's the book by? There's a book that is written. It's called what is it called?
Well, that's all right about the title. What about the book?
But in the book, the principles of the book talk about God swaying himself to this, and it's called The Shack by W.M. Paul Young. And so if you read that book, then you find out that God basically finds himself congruent to whatever state of mind a person is in. And so at one state, God is a Jewish carpenter. At one state, God shows himself as a big black woman in the kitchen cooking.
Big black woman.
A black woman in the kitchen cooking. And
So
so
you think God could be a big black woman?
I think that God can be whatever it is that you need God to
Really?
be at that moment.
Do you think that God could be a homosexual too?
To be fair, yeah, as someone who's really into paranormal things, I what he said, like what he's saying, I kind of, yeah, I think there is more to that. I do think there is like parallel universe or the multiverse, and I do think there is something that exists in another dimension that is able to cross over here, because it is funny that, like he said, people have experiences with things that are typically of their culture, and it's typically something that you already relate to, that something appears to you as. But I don't necessarily know if that's God or just something that some type of entity that can come into our thing. Because it's funny that people always talk about demonic things as being children, or like coming across as children, because that's what you see as the most innocent, harmless thing. And that's what, when you see a child, you're not scared. Do you know what I mean? So it comes across as that. Yeah, this has nothing to do with what they're talking about, really. But you do hear paranormal experiences from all different parts of the world, and typically it does tend to be whatever that experience that either is manifesting, or they are manifesting, or something's manifesting, does typically appear to you in a form that you're already familiar with. And do you know what I mean? And it's normally your cultural god. But yeah, anyway.
If God needs to be a homosexual, I think that he was, but I don't liken him to that. I don't liken God to be to be an isolated gender.
So you believe that God could be a woman, a big black woman,
God
a
could
homosexual?
God could be whatever you need God to be.
And so does that person make God what they want him to be in their mind so they can accept being wrong? Or does God switch genders and all that kind of stuff?
I don't think that God, that we create God to be whatever we want God to be in our minds. I think that it's based on experiences. The experiences of that person allows God to transform himself in whatever it is that person needs to be. For an example, if you've ever gone to Africa, or if you've ever gone to a part of the world where there's no westernized religions, to where people they don't have an isolated form of who Jesus is or what he looks like, opposed to what you were talking about earlier.
Right.
We don't know what he looks like, and so since that, God becomes whatever it is that person's experiences.
But those countries that don't believe in God, they are S-hole countries, and they're all trying to come here now and bring their S-hole attitudes.
Their S-hole? What is that?
Huh?
What is that?
What is S-hole country? It's an S-H-I-T hole.
Oh, you're saying that they're S-hole countries.
Right, because those people don't believe in God.
I wouldn't say that they don't believe in God. I would say
they don't believe in the real God. They have their own made-up God based on their imagination, right?
I wouldn't say that. I would say that we experience God on the level that we know God. So if you have somebody that is an Indian and they've never had anyone explain to them the ideology of God that is created here in Western culture, then I think that
What is Western culture?
Western culture is where we are now.
Oh.
It's what we operate in a canonized version of the Bible in which we accept as the authentic truth of
But Western culture is the best culture, right?
I wouldn't say that.
Then why everybody trying to come here? If we're not the best, if Western culture is not the best culture, why everybody trying to come to what's not the best culture?
Is everybody trying to come here?
Everybody and their mama. Have you noticed we can't even keep the illegals out?
I wouldn't
The
say that
illegals are
everybody's
breaking.
trying to come here,
Yeah,
but
they
I would
are.
say that there are people that are trying
From all over the world.
to come here from all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if we are not the best country, why are they trying to come here? Why don't they go to the best country?
We could consider ourselves to be the best country,
But we
and
are the
maybe
best.
and
And that's
maybe.
because of Western culture.
Well, I wouldn't use the word best. Maybe I would use the word. We're probably a country where people are allowed to be free and be themselves.
So we're the best.
If you say best, then I'll go with that.
So I want to go back. You say God is a black woman.
I didn't say God was a black woman. I used the book as an analogy
That God was
to,
a black
to
woman.
show us that God could be whatever it is that we need God to be.
Amazing. Do you believe that book?
I believe that God could be whatever it is that we want God to be.
Really?
Yes.
And so you've been a homosexual all your life, you said earlier, right?
At the age of
You wanna break?
9, I knew that I liked the same sex. Yes.
You
How
better not
did you
be in my
become that
zip.
way?
I didn't become that way. I knew that was my innate nature to be to like men.
And so how did your nature go from a natural nature of being a man or male to an unnatural nature of becoming a woman? How did that happen?
You said the unnatural nature of me becoming a woman?
Yeah, how, if you were born a natural male, right?
You're born a natural male.
Right, you were, right?
I am a male currently sitting here in front of you.
But how did you go from being a natural male to an unnatural woman?
Who's an unnatural woman?
But isn't homosexuality is like being a female feelings?
No,
What is it?
no.
What is it exactly?
Being gay is or being gay, being a homosexual, whatever term that a person wants to
Right.
use to identify themselves. It's an innate state of being. It means that this is who that person is.
The thing is I actually agree with him. I think the best, which I don't know, people might find offensive, but Lord Jamar, who's an old school rapper, basically he's famous now for dissing Eminem all the time in interviews, but he had the best summing up of the trans gay thing and why our culture is going too far with all of that. He's like, it's like being gay is abnormal. It's not normal because if it was normal, there wouldn't be people. Because a woman and a woman can't have a baby, and a man can't have a baby. Therefore, do you know what I mean? If that was normality, there wouldn't be people. And that's what. But then, like Lord Jamar said, and he's like, but that's fine. There are abnormalities in nature all over the place. He's like, and it's fine. That's fine, right? But where this culture's going wrong is that you're trying to push it as if that's what being normal is, and being straight is something that's unusual when it's not. And that's what he said. It's like it is abnormal, but abnormalities are still natural. You can see it happen in everything. Do you know what I mean? In every single part of life, you'll find in nature, you'll find abnormalities. So there's nothing wrong with that. And that if you are that, there's nothing wrong with that. But it, like, you can't pass it off as being the norm. Do you know what I mean? It's abnormal and it's fine, but it can't be the norm because, like I say, otherwise there'd be no more people. Like, yeah, it's like man wouldn't have survived or mankind. But yeah, I always thought that that was such a great way of summing it up that there's nothing wrong with abnormalities. But where this society's going wrong is you're trying to make that normality, and it's not. Like he said, if I, like Lord Jamar said, if I was walking down the road and saw someone who's trans, and my little boy said, "Dad, what's that about?" He's like, I'd say, um, it's a man who wants to be a woman, and that's fine, but it's that's not the norm. Basically, he's like, I would let my kid know that that's not normal. It's not the normality. It's not the normal thing for the majority of people. And yeah, I just thought that was such a great, like, because it puts it in a way that it's. I think that's a fair summing up of it. Right? It's a fair, natural, biological way of summing up that, and also coming across and saying, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Be that, like that. That's fine. It is not. It's not against nature. It's natural. Anyway, hold on 2 secs. All right. Yeah. Let's carry on. Let's go.
If I'm not a woman, I'm a man sitting here in front of you having a conversation. I have a penis, just like you have
Well,
a
you
penis.
do have the male parts, but now they're cutting that off too. Did you hear about that? We'll get to that. But do you feel inwardly?
I can feel it building. I can feel the storm off building. The last one was a bit more of a shock because she was pretty much chill, 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 chill. He's already starting to look at them.
Feel like a male or you feel like a female?
I am a male sitting here in front of you.
No, but what do you feel
I
like?
feel
on
like
inside?
a male. And
Inside?
I am a male sitting here in front of
I
you.
realize that, but inside, do you feel like a man or you feel like a woman?
I am a male sitting here in front of you. So that answers your question, right?
I know.
I
but
don't feel like anything because I am a male.
You don't feel like neither male nor woman?
I am a male sitting here in front of you.
I realize that, but what makes you think you're a homosexual then? If there's not a
What makes
feeling on
me-
the inside, why do you think you're homosexual?
Homosexuality is not a feeling; it's a state of being. It's who the person innately is. It has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with creating a feeling that you're talking about. It's an innate. It's the innate nature of who that person is. I innately am who I am. Me being gay or homosexual has nothing to do for me with being a man. It has everything to do with my preference and who I choose to sleep with.
What does the word innately mean? What does that mean? I'm black and slow. I don't know what that means.
The word innate, the word innate means that I'm not changing or I'm not becoming something else. I am who I am.
Just before we started the show, you said that you introduced your, is he your husband or your wife? Is that your husband? He gonna be your husband or your wife?
I'm gonna end this interview.
Why?
Because we're ending this right now.
Why you want to end?
We're ending it.
Well,
Take
wait,
this
come
off.
back.
Take this off. When you want to have a real conversation,
I'm
call
having-
me.
I'm-
No, you're bullshitting me,
Come
and
back.
I'm not gonna be a part of that. Come take this off of me, or I'm gonna take it with me.
But why are you running?
Come take this off of me, or I'm gonna take it with me. Please take it off of me.
Really,
Because
come take it
you're
off.
disrespecting me.
But no, I'm
So-
asking you really.
Please take it off.
Am
or
I
I'm gonna
asking
take
him
it
real
with
serious
me.
questions?
No, I'm saying, just let them take their recording. They're trying to get a reaction.
It's okay.
Where we go? Oh, not playing.
No, that's not what we're doing.
So,
Just take it off.
yeah.
But
Is
tell me
it-
why
is
you're
it
running.
down?
I'm not running, sir, but when you want to have a real conversation, you have my information. You can
But you
call
said
me.
that you're gonna.
When you want to have a real conversation,
You said that
when you
gonna
want to have
marry
a real
this-
conversation,
You said you're gonna
can call
marry
me.
this guy.
When you want to have, he's a
Bed.
guy. You're calling him a female. You're being disrespectful.
I asked if you gonna call him husband or wife. Come back. Do you want to be interviewed? No.
I don't think it was just.
Amazing. Well, they gone. That's amazing. They gone. They walked away. So the deal is that was Pastor Kurt D. Thomas And Kurt D. Thomas is a senior pastor of the Renewed Church of Los Angeles. And he is a admitted homosexual pastor. And what he does is he works with men. They host a monthly men's group, they say. So I wanted to know about all that, but just before we started the show, he introduced this other male, a black male, that he said that they're going to get married soon. And I know that these people are doing that and they're calling it marriage. So I want to just kind of lay out that first. I had no idea that he was going to run, because if they are proud of being what they are and they say that it's normal, you would think that they would want to talk about it. But apparently not. And so I don't know what's going to happen, but he's gone. There's no use in praying for him anymore. He's gone. I wanted to ask him about the Great White Hope, Donald Trump. I wanted to ask, how does this work? If we are in a fallen state, we should overcome. I had a lot of questions. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. That was a short one. Help us fight censorship by hitting the thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. And ring the bell. And don't forget to buy the merch. Everything we get, donate, and all that, it goes back to make all this happen. We try to wake up the world, come out of that fallen state. Thank you so much.
I mean, it didn't look like him, really, but it really sounded like him. Hold on, I just want to go and watch Jesse. Jesse's roundup of this, was actually so professional. But he did it so professionally, but what he was saying was just hilarious. And now, not being rude, but gays have to know there is always the masculine one and the feminine one. Always. Do you know what I mean? Always. There's like the more campy one and then the more like a bloke. Do you know what I mean? Always. I'd say he was more like the feminine one, the one that was on.
Well, they gone. That he said that they're going to get married soon. And I know that these people are doing that and they're calling it marriage. So I want to just kind of lay out that first.
It's how he
Kurt D.
delivers
Thomas
that.
is a senior pastor of the Renewed Church of Los Angeles. And he is a admitted homosexual pastor. And what he does is he works with men. They host a monthly men's group, they say. So I wanted to know about all that, but just before we started the show, he introduced this other male, a black male, that he said that they're going to get married soon. And I know that these people are doing that and they're calling it marriage. So I want to just kind of lay out that first. I had no idea that he was going to run, because if they are proud of being what they are and they say that it's normal, you would think that they would want to talk about it. But apparently not. And so I don't know what's going to happen, but he's gone. There's no use in praying for him anymore. He's gone. I wanted to ask him about the Great White Hope, Donald Trump. I wanted to ask, how does this work? If we are in a fall.
I wanted to lay that out. But yeah, I'm surprised that's what got him and not when he said he basically called him a woman. Like, I would have found that more offensive. But I do actually think I would have liked to have seen the other one. His husband, definitely. Definitely, yeah. I bet the other one's just like, alright, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like, chill. Like, you wouldn't even guess. But actually, to be fair to that matey, again, like, I can't. There's nothing in anything he said really that really made me like hate him or like, yeah, like, yeah, like if like I don't know. it's kind of baffling to me because they actually seem all right, these people. Like the woman before, she seemed all right. Like I say, there was nothing that she said that was really make you go, oh, do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't stand. But then I'm not really like that anyway, to be fair. I don't really care what people think and what people want to do. I really don't. Like Cat Williams said, I don't give a fuck what you're doing over there because I'm busy doing what the fuck I'm doing over here. Yeah, that's how I feel. I really don't care. But the only bit that does annoy me is when you start forcing it. Like, don't force me to have an opinion. Right? Like I say, I can be absolutely fine with having. I've got mates that I completely disagree with on loads of things. I've got dad like that. But to me, I like quite like that. Like, I quite like, yeah, different, different folk. Really, yeah. I don't know. Like, it just don't bother me really. But I do actually agree with what he says as well. No, I do actually think that like homosexuality is something you just are. Like, I do think that. I don't think it's like I don't think it's necessarily a choice. Yeah. But then I don't know because he also saw that they banned it. I think it's an African country, and like the prime minister or president of that country or whatever, whoever's in charge, said yeah, they outlawed being gay, and then some kind of, I don't know, Western news reporter was saying, "Do you think that's right?" And he was like, "Well, we offered that if you can prove that it's not a choice and it's something that you are, we would lift the ban on it, but no one can actually prove that." But I do actually think that it is something people are. See, some people you can just tell. Do you know what I mean? There's certain people. I mean, me saying that now is instantly going to spring people to mind in your head that you grew up with, went to school with, and you're like, definitely. Do you know what I mean? But like when we was at school, it's just like you just knew that them boys weren't going to come and like smash up the toilets or something. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that was like all it really meant. Like you knew that, like, but like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, that's the reaction. Sweet.